What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for the post-match stream day after the morning before, and it's not any less painful as it was yesterday. A 2-2 draw with Burnley at Turf Moor, which now is like a long line of terrible, terrible results. Obviously losing to West Ham last week. Wolves, we couldn't beat them. Those are the three teams in the relegation zone, and teams are creeping up on us down the bottom, which is really worrying, frightening, to be honest, with the games that we've got coming up. Yeah, I mean, where do we even start, man?
It's a difficult one because I think, given after West Ham, everyone was saying this guy's on his last legs. Thomas Frank, that was a horrible, horrible defeat. We all thought we were going to wake up the next morning to him being sacked. They gave him the Dortmund game, we won that, and now he's gotten this last-minute draw, which seems as though it's bought him more time. I don't think they're going to sack him, but it's kind of mind-numbing at the moment. Like, what are we supposed to be getting behind as Tottenham fans? We're seeing the football being turgid. We're seeing the results tanking. We're seeing us getting closer and closer to the relegation zone, where there seems to be no change in sight. And it's leading to... but it's weird now. We've gone from, I feel like a few weeks ago, we've gone from a fan base which was apathetic to what was going on. But all of a sudden, there's now real fear creeping in to this fan base, because that we are now 8 points away from the relegation zone. We've got a horrendous run of fixtures coming up. West Ham have got momentum behind them with 2 good wins. Well, obviously, Tottenham have given them that. And we could be 16th by the end of today, depending on how results go. Or 15th level on points with 16th, 3 points above 17th.
Yeah, well, that game's tomorrow. So, yeah, Leeds play tomorrow. But look, we'll get into the manager situation a bit later on in the stream. Let's look back at the game yesterday, which, in my opinion, it was a game that Spurs deserved to win with the chances that we had compared to the chances that Burnley had. I think the 2 goals that Burnley scored came from completely our own doing. The first one was just a complete shit show from Vicario to Romero to Twanzebe, completely free in the box with 3 men around him. I mean, it was just a complete mess. The second one was just like another mess. Van de Ven gets turned inside out, doesn't he? And then Burnley just have multiple men in the box and no one's picking up their man. It's just like ridiculous. And look, Burnley had a few half chances apart from that, but not really. I mean, Vicario made a double save at one point during the game. But yeah, look, I thought Spurs deserved to win yesterday for all. I think we were unlucky not to win.
Unlucky not to win, I agree. Deserved to win, I don't agree. I do not agree with that assertion.
Why not?
Because I don't think we did. I don't think we were good enough to win. And I think it's not just a case of...
But if you're unlucky not to win, surely you deserve to win.
No, that's two different things. Yes, Dubravka had a great game, don't get me wrong. But the story of the game was Tottenham didn't do enough to win the game, not just because they didn't put the ball in the back of net, even though they had lots of chances. I agree with that. But the story of the game wasn't a rampant Tottenham side who had the game in the palm of their hand. That wasn't what happened.
Yeah, but you can also not be unbelievable and be rampant and still deserve to win the game.
I'm not talking about that. We weren't that for sure. We had the better chances, but I don't think we deserved to win the game. I'll tell you why. In that first half, we were dominant, yes. And with the domination we had, we should have probably created more chances and maybe been a couple of goals up. I do agree with that. But at the end of the day, for the first half, 35 minutes, yeah, the football was horrible. As much as we dominated, the football was terrible. And yes, we kept Burnley at arm's length, but that's to be expected if we're being honest. But you still have to do it, and we did it. And the only time we created chances was Odegaard had a long shot, we had a free kick, and then we had 2 moments from corners, and that's fine. We
had an opening in the very first minute as well.
Yeah, which we didn't get a shot off. We had an opening, but. Yeah, we had a pullback.
An opening, and then Jed Spence had that shot as well, which is kind of a half chance. Yeah,
I'm saying if you're looking at the main chances we created, right, it was from 2 corners, and the first 2 chances was obviously a double save, but that led to the next corner, which we scored from. So if we scored from that corner, we're obviously probably not going to score from the next one because we didn't get that next one. So I think to say that we were look, we were good in terms of how dominant we were, and on paper, Dubravka did make 7 saves. But I think if you look deeper into it, we pretty much, the main thing was those 2 corners, and we scored from 2 of them, and one led to the other. So it's not like we were completely like all over them in that first half, chance after chance, and it could have been 3 or 4. We basically got the goal and then sat back and conceded. And that might have happened if we scored from that first corner. It's obviously we don't know what would have happened, but the logic states what changes if we score a minute earlier than we score in the minute we did. Because the corner that we missed 2 chances from led to the corner we scored from.
Yeah, look, you can hypothesize and think what's going to happen if we did this and if we did that, but the reality is we had 7 shots on target in the first half. We were putting them under pressure. There were massive parts in the first half which were, dull and boring and, not much happening in the game. But in my opinion, it was 2 poor sides going at each other yesterday. No one really stood out to have a really good performance or a good performance at all. And I say that whilst I say that I still think Spurs deserved to win the game because we were the better of the poor sides.
And again, so as I was saying, the reason why I disagree, so in that first half, 1-0 up, fine, we were dominant. But again, we scored from the corner and then sat back. I don't think 1-0 would have been massively harsh on us. I think probably going in 1-0 was fair. We then do concede that goal from moments which are absolutely ridiculous. Vicario being ridiculous, the defenders in the box losing their men. But that is Frank. Obviously, it's the defender's job to play out on the pitch. But also, Frank has been waxing lyrical about how much better we are defensively and all this stuff. And then we concede a goal like that. Second half, we had 1 chance through Solanke, which was good play from Xavi on the left, and he should have buried it, don't get me wrong. And if that goes in, it probably is a different game. But we do miss it. And then for the next half an hour, it's again absolutely turgid. And if anything, Burnley were the more likely to score in that moment. So it wasn't a massive surprise when they did. Broja, you said it was half chances. He had a 1-on-1, which forced a double save out of Vicario. That was probably the best chance of anything we did in that moment.
I would say Solanke's chance was better.
Maybe, give or take, but it was a very good chance. I think they were creating a lot of moments on the break. And if it wasn't for Broja screwing up and some last-ditch defending from Van der Ven and Romero, they could have easily created moments. And I said when in the watch long, when Lyle Foster's coming on, he's a fast forward. If he gets an own goal, he's going to get his shot off, which Broja couldn't because he didn't have the pace. But all of a sudden, Foster was getting in there, and he got his obviously he got the goal again. Shambolic defending. I think that's probably the worst defending goal I've seen from Tottenham this season. Romero was a disgrace. I've watched it back. He gets done by a dummy, which, okay, that can happen. But then he's just standing there watching it all play. It was like ball watching. When there's 3 free attackers in the box, Van der Ven is getting spun left and right. Danso has got 3 players to mind. And Romero's just standing there watching it. He's just not getting involved. It's like he missed the dummy. He's like, okay, I'm done now. That's my job done for the day. I'm like, what? I don't understand why he's doing that. They then get that goal. But my point is, it wasn't a massive surprise when they did get that goal. It wasn't like Tottenham were really knocking the door when they scored against run and play. That isn't what happened. When they did score, it wasn't a massive surprise. Everyone could see it coming because of how the game was going. We then, obviously, credit to the team, we rallied once we conceded and had a late flurry of chances, and we ended up getting the equaliser. But to sit here and say we're in the game state and the story of the game that we were we had the game in the palm of our hands at any moment, we never did.
No one said that, though.
Yeah, saying we deserved the win.
We did deserve the win.
I don't think we did.
But you're going to one end of the spectrum to the other, saying that just because I say that we deserve the win, that means we were rampant and we were on top of them all game. Well, that's the first thing you said when I said we deserve the win. We weren't rampant all game, and we weren't rampant all game, and we should be. But that's a separate point altogether. I'm just saying, in a very poor performance for Spurs, for the most part, we were the better team on the day, and we should have got the victory, and we probably deserved the victory. That's all I'm saying. I
think any team fighting for what we want to fight for, looking at this game, objectively, you would say we didn't deserve the win because we were the architects of our own downfall. Now, the situation we're in, we're so low down, and what do you call it? Standards are so low, and we've been so bad this season that this game you maybe come away with thinking there's been improvements and we had more shots and we were a better team, so we deserved the win. But we didn't deserve the win. We didn't deserve. Yeah, we were a better team. We were better than Burnley. But on the game, the way the game went in the game state, we didn't deserve the win because when we did score, we lost concentration, let it slip, and then we were second best and waited till we were 2-1 down to have a go and rally. So from that point of view, we did not deserve the win.
Yeah, but if you look at it, just a bit more maybe simplistic, maybe is the word. Like, if you create the better chances in the game, if you're the better team on the day and you're unlucky not to win, then most times you probably deserve to win the game. And I think that was simply the case yesterday. And like I said, I keep reiterating the fact I don't think we were good yesterday. I don't think that yesterday showed me anything that Thomas Frank should be keeping his job. I was calling for him to be sacked at the end of the game, and I still stand by that. Obviously, he should be sacked. He's doing a terrible job at Tottenham, and I think game management yesterday was absolutely shocking. Like, how does it at 1-1? How does it take so long? Why do you wait until you're losing 2-1 to make changes in the game? It made no sense to me. Why bring on a doggy and not bring on Tell at half time? It made no sense to me. It's just like so many weird decisions from Thomas Frank. Like, he waits till 10 minutes to go to bring on Matisse Tell after everything that's been spoken about after the last week about him saying how much he trusts him. He would have started last week against Dortmund and all this kind of stuff, and waits 10 minutes to go until we're 2-1 down. I think it was shocking, the game management from Thomas Frank yesterday. But yeah, I genuinely believe we deserved to win the game yesterday, albeit it wasn't a good performance. But anyway, we can't keep going around in circles.
I just disagree.
Yeah, you disagree. Fine, that's fair enough. But like, I just don't see where we go from here, and I don't understand like how we can keep persisting with these results and this board. Like, at this point, well, it's not at this point. It's been apparent for a long time so far this season. It's just sheer incompetence from this board to let this carry on and let this keep sliding and let us get closer and closer to the relegation zone. I mean, at this point, I'm not even looking at Thomas Frank anymore. I'm looking at them. It's just like, what are they doing? What are they seeing? What are they watching?
They're looking to give it a long-term view. They've backed Frank ahead of this project, and they don't want to let it go. They also have... have to think of a big payout they'll probably have to pay if they do sack Frank. There's also no immediate kind of target right now, is there, that you can look at and think, we have to be going for him, and this is the guy we should be bringing, like an obvious target. So I understand they are in a bit of a predicament. Don't get me wrong. I think Frank is not the right guy, and I think he should be sacked. And if there was any manager worth their salt ready and waiting, I would sack him today. I would sack him yesterday, sack him last week. But I also I have got a tiny bit of sympathy with them. Not much, because I think they're the ones who've put us in this position. It's ultimately the buck stops with them in terms of why we are here. But the reality is we are here at this current moment. And what do? How do we move forward? And I do have a bit of sympathy in terms of, if you do sack Frank and put in an interim, what good does that do? And I understand that argument. Is there a real good alternative? Unless you can convince Xavi Alonso, or you want to take a risk on Xavi Hernandez, there isn't really a great alternative. Or maybe you go all out and pay a release clause to get it all out of Bournemouth. But is that the answer right now? If you want, maybe you have to wait till the summer for good options. So I also understand that kind of predicament as well. So I don't really know what the best course of action is. All I know is Frank, for me, isn't the right guy, and he shouldn't be Tottenham manager. But what we do with that information is hard to say. I want the day to be hit for him to be sacked to be today. I want to hear he's been sacked and there's a plan in place. But what plan that is, I don't know. But at this point, as long as they put a plan in place and take action on it, I'm all for it, because I don't really know what exactly the best course of action would be right now for this club in terms of the next 4 months. What does the next 4 months look like? What does it look like under Thomas Frank? What does it look like under an interim? I don't know. Those are the answers to those questions. And the board are the ones who've got to make those decisions.
I think we do know what it's going to look like under Thomas Frank. It's going to probably look like much of what we've seen in the first 6 months of his tenure, to be honest. But look, we've got some updates from Fabrizio Romano, which we'll bring on the Tottenham update just after the match review. But in terms of the way Frank managed this game, like, do you understand many of the decisions that Thomas Frank took? Like, why did it take so long for him to make those changes in the second half? Like, why is it always so kind of... He waits so long every time. Like, you only ever see him make those changes once we're losing. Like, he doesn't have the foresight to see it going in the wrong direction to preempt those kind of decisions. It's always after the fact.
Yeah, agreed. And he's always reacting. And Tell, I think, should have come on probably at halftime or much, much earlier. Why he waited till the 78th minute to bring him on, I have no clue. And even then, he had a chance and he could have scored. I thought Tell had a decent cameo again. Like, I don't understand what he has against him. Why is he playing Jed Spence for a whole half at left wing against Burnley away? That makes no sense to me. I know he had a decent game against Dortmund, but I said after that game, I don't want to see him at left wing against Burnley. It's not going to work in the same way. People saying, oh, Spence might have found a new position. I think it's crazy. He ain't a winger. I think it's clear for everyone to see he ain't a winger. He should never have started a wing in this kind of game. And I don't understand what Frank is seeing from that point of view and why he's so resistant to playing Tell. I think Tell could have maybe got a goal contribution if he started yesterday, given the fact he played 10 minutes and nearly scored. So for me, it's absolutely crazy why he's playing a back three against Burnley in the first place. I don't understand. I think also yesterday was very telling with Moani, I have to say. He didn't come on the pitch at all. So what that means, we'll have to wait and see between now and the end of the window. But the fact he didn't come on and, it's a Solanke play 90 minutes.
Yep.
So that goes to show...
And he brought on Scarlett ahead of him.
So that goes to show, I think, people...
I can't really complain about that because that's what I was calling for in the match preview.
I think that's very telling maybe what he thinks of Moani. I don't know why he puts him in the squad at all if he ain't going to bring him on. So yeah, I think
just to make him sit on the bench.
I think the changes, the tactics were baffling to me. And yet again, in this game, we waited until the 5 minutes before the end to actually have a go at Burnley and actually force the issue. For that whole second half, we were toiling. We were just pensive. We were just getting caught out on the counter by Burnley, and no changes were in the offing. I didn't understand it. Everyone could see early on, make some changes. We just didn't do it.
Yeah, look, to be honest, with Thomas Frank, I back him, I don't back him to be. I back him with the Moani situation because it's something I've been calling. I think Moani's been disgraceful over the last couple of games, and he doesn't deserve to be on the pitch for us, and he makes no impact anyway. So what's the difference? So. In terms of some individual performances, I thought Odebear kind of produced for us again. Obviously, gets another goal contribution. In the first half, he was the one really looking to press the issue. Obviously, that shot from like 25 yards forced a good save out of Dubravka, and that was like kind of catalyst to our early the pressure that we had in that first half. And it was a brilliant cross for Romero as well.
My man of the match. I thought it was excellent. Excellent again after a really good performance. After a really good performance against Dortmund on Tuesday night, I think he's followed that up with a brilliant performance against Burnley, and he's growing into the season. I think he's growing into this role in the right-hand side as well. And I thought he set up a great goal for Romero. He also set up that chance for Xavi. He also won the corner, which we ended up scoring from. And he actually, not only did he win the corner with a brilliant shot, the following corner he had a brilliant volleyed effort, which was saved by Dubravka, which led to the corner that we scored from. I think he was phenomenal. And not just that, there was a few moments he's just going past players like they're not even there. And his dribbling is much more direct. It's much more incisive. I also think he's running in behind a bit more than he was when he first joined. So I think he's really growing, and we're starting to see a real player there. And he's starting to get goal contributions as well.
It's 4 in 4 now for him. You know, a goal against Aston Villa in the Cup, 2 assists against Dortmund, and an assist yesterday. So, yeah, I'm delighted with Wilson Odebear and the development that he's been showing since moving over to the right-hand side, 100%. Yeah, it was kind of like a mixed day for both Romero and Van de Ven, wasn't it? Because both of them had a hand in the goals that we conceded, but both of them end up on the score sheet once again. Both of them brilliant finishes, weren't they? Mickey Van de Ven, like you can't get more bottom corner than the way Mickey Van de Ven hit that, proper ferocity in the shot. And Romero, that was just a bullet header, no stopping that.
It was a phenomenal header. If you actually watch it, he has to stoop low and dive for it, and the way he kind of contorted his body to get the stoop so low, dive for the ball, and then somehow turn it goalwards with the power that he did to get it past Dubravka, I thought was sensational, actually. And yet again, him and Van de Ven, massive threat from set pieces, and they were a constant threat. But it takes Romero abandoning everything, going up front. This must be off the top of my head, this is the third goal he scored from open play in the opposition box, not just set piece, because against Newcastle he scored one from open play, one from a corner. Against West Ham, that was from open play, and now another one from open play. So this isn't him going up for a corner and scoring. This is him actively going into the box in open play when we need a goal, literally playing as a striker and getting the end of things. Maybe at this point it's happened so many times, maybe it is a tactic, but I really struggle to believe that Frank is telling Romero, you have to get into the box.
It's not just under Frank that we've seen it. We used to see this under Ange as well when we were struggling late in games. He would just like bombard his way up front. So, yeah, I don't know if it's an instruction from Frank or something, but I think it's probably something that he just does. Like he's done it under previous management. He probably tells the manager, like, if we're struggling late on game, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and try and supply for the team, and he does it regularly. So big up to Cuti Romero, but the mistake for the goal, like, it's a sloppy pass from Vicario, hit way too hard, but Romero has the quality to get that under and just get it away. You know what I mean? Like, no way it should be going under his foot like that.
Sloppy from everyone. I think Vicario makes a rushed, nervous pass with too much power on it, and Romero is too lax. Maybe he doesn't expect the power that is on it to be on it, but still, we know Romero has the ability to control that, and he miscontrols it, and he lets it go out for a throw, and that leads to a bit of momentum building for Burnley, and they ended up getting the goal. You watch that goal back, the second one. I mean, it's hard to look at that and think Romero is trying his best. Honestly, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous how he just watches the whole play out as it did without getting involved. For a defender who's so proactive, who always looks to get in front of his defender and make challenges, he misses the ball, that can happen. But then he just watches things. He doesn't get bust a gut to get back in the box and defend. And he just allows Burnley an easy shot. I guarantee you, if Romero runs his arse off to get back in the box, Foster doesn't have two free shots in the area. I mean, I think it was absolutely ridiculous. And I love Romero, and I've defended him a lot, but I can't defend him with that goal. That was, I mean, look, to be fair, he recovered. You can argue he did, recover the situation. He got the goal back himself, and that's fair enough. But still,
I don't think it is fair enough.
That is a disgrace of defending from him for that second goal.
Not really fair enough, because you're recovering a situation, put us in a draw. We need to win that game. A draw's not good enough. So to concede that goal and to get it back on level terms it's not good enough. You need to keep it at level terms and go and get the winner. Like, I don't know, man. But it's worrying signs, that's for sure. Because we've seen it from Romero before in terms of when he's not putting his all in. These things can creep into his game. We've seen it time and time again in a Spurs shirt, to be honest, and even more so at the back end of last season.
And Van de Ven getting spun for that goal wasn't a great sight either. And that's not obviously something you associate him with in that moment. And they both looked so despondent after the game. No, not surprising.
But it's a regular thing. This is what they're looking like at the end of every game right now.
Someone said,
apart from the Dortmund one.
Someone said Romero apologising after the game because he saved Frank's job. That's what he was apologising for.
When you're looking at the two midfielders, Gallagher and Bissouma, I thought Bissouma did really well in the first half, but then kind of tired in the second half and got taken off. But I'm very pleased with what I saw from him in the first half. Gallagher, on the other hand, I mean, what does he do? What does he actually do? Like, he runs around a bit, puts a few challenges in, but like, I'm yet to see anything that Gallagher brings to this team, really.
Yeah, I'm hesitant to go overboard because obviously it's a second game, but he wasn't great. He was just a bit meh, wasn't he? Like nothing, didn't really offer anything apart from in the centre of the park, a few missed controls. He's obviously busy, wins fouls, he makes fouls, he wins tackles, that kind of stuff. And I thought his pressing was pretty decent. And obviously he had that one chance from the follow up from the corner, didn't he, which he missed. I think when it comes to our build up play, I think we were much more heavily reliant on Basuma than Gallagher, but Gallagher wasn't really getting involved. He wasn't able to progress the ball. I actually think saw a stat yesterday. He was one of the least progressive passes on the ball yesterday in our team. So that I think tells a story. But I think, it hasn't been a great start to his Tottenham career. I think him playing in a double pivot. I'm not saying it's not his position because I hope that's what he's been brought in to do because hopefully that's kind of a role he plays. We don't really want to see him in the 10, but I think he doesn't show for the ball anywhere near enough. He doesn't look too comfortable when he's being pressed. Maybe it's just a case of he's getting into the team, understanding his role. But at the moment, he just seems a bit lost.
Yeah, well, you actually look at it with Conor Gallagher. When has he actually consistently, over the course of his career, performed really well in the 8? His best kind of periods have been in the 10 for Chelsea and for Crystal Palace. So, like, why are we sitting here thinking like he's going to be that box-to-box 8 that we all thought he was? Like, his best performances have come in the 10.
I think he's not really the 10 we want.
Yeah, that's fair enough, but we're talking about him and the player and what he's shown in his career.
I mean, when in his best season for Chelsea, he kind of played half in the 10, half in the 8.
But when he really came alive in that second half of the season, he was in the 10.
I'll have to look into it. I don't really know, to be honest. Maybe. I know he had some good performances in the 10, and I'm pretty sure he had some good performances in the 8. But I think it's true to say that his best work probably comes in the final third. That's probably true to say. I don't think he's been proven to be very effective in the middle of the pitch in that sense. He's very good at making those late runs in the box. He's very good at
but that's what
transitions and stuff like that. Now, if we can get him doing it from the 8, that would be great. But obviously, we've got Javi there. Obviously, we have heard the plan was in his first game to play him in the 10. So if that's true, maybe that goes into where Frank's head's at when it comes to him and maybe where it comes to Javi as well. Maybe we're going to start to see Javi more on the left and more Gallagher in the 10. Maybe that is going to be what it is. But when it comes to creativity, he's not that kind of 10. He's very much more like a box crasher.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I'm not saying it can't work, but it's also, I guess, not aesthetically pleasing, but I guess nothing about Frank Ball is.
Exactly. Just hard one to take yesterday. And as it stands, Nottingham Forest have taken the lead as well. So they're going to be going 3 points behind us.
Yeah,
which is
away at Brentford.
You know, it's just like seems like all the results are gone against us this weekend. We can't get a win against Burnley. West Ham back-to-back wins, obviously one against us, and now Nottingham Forest are winning. It's getting scarier and scarier as each game passes.
Absolutely. Look, I'm not saying it as seriously suggesting that we will go down, but I do think that we can very easily get embroiled in a relegation battle. And I also think in 4 games' time, right now that gap is 8. All it takes is 1 loss and 1 win for West Ham, which is not inconceivable by any stretch. All of a sudden, that's 5 points. 5 points can be turned very, very quickly. Right now, the gap between Forest and West Ham is 5 points.
Look, let me put it like this. I'm going to tell you Nottingham Forest's next 4 fixtures, yeah? They're winning today against Brentford away. They might lose, they might draw, whatever. Next game, they got Palace at home. Then they got Leeds away. Then Wolves at home.
They're going to pick up more points than us.
If they end today 3 points behind us, they'll be above us in the next 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Is that not fucking scary?
It's very scary.
Nottingham Forest. They've been in the relegation zone a lot of the season. They've been through 3 managers this season. They've currently got Sean Dyche, and they could be very realistically be above us in the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, I think anyone saying that there's no chance we get in a relegation battle, I think they're being a bit deluded given the way we're playing and the fixtures we got coming up. I think I don't think we'll get relegated. Don't get me wrong. I think we'll have enough to stay up.
Listen to ourselves, man.
That's what I'm saying.
We have enough to stay up.
We have enough quality to stay up, even if it means when Frank Saxton.
I can't believe these words are coming out your mouth.
But right now, we could easily be in a month's time if we time travel 1 month from now, when we've played those 4 games in the next 4 league fixtures, we could easily be within touching distance of that relegation zone. Could we be in that relegation zone? And if West Ham win 3 of their games, they would have to win 3 of their next 4, and we lose all our 4 games.
Yeah, but even after the next 4 games, and we've still got difficult fixtures after that I don't trust us to, like Fulham away. You think we're going to go to Fulham away and not lose?
There's no game where you can trust us right now. I do think, and if I'm being fair to Frank, I do think these games coming out. Now, I did say this before, and it didn't exactly pan out like this, but I do think these are the games, in terms of how we set up, which are probably more suited to how where we are setting up. And obviously, some of our better results and main performances have come in these kind of games. Man City, we went to Newcastle, got a draw. Liverpool with 10 men, we could have got a result out of that. Obviously, Dortmund, we've won. So those are the kind of games which you look at and you think, and performance you think maybe we are more suited to playing those kind of games. And I tend to agree with that. But even within that context, you know, Newcastle we still should have lost. Liverpool, we did still lose. Obviously, Arsenal away, we got absolutely trounced 4-1. Villa, we had a better performance, but we lost at home. So even though we might be having better performances, results haven't exactly been amazing. Maybe a bit better than against the lower teams, which is incredible. But results haven't exactly been like consistently good. So even if we do get some results over the next month, like how many games are we realistically thinking we're going to win?
Yeah, the thing is, over the next 4 fixtures, the corresponding fixtures, we've picked up 5 points from. We beat Man City, like you said, drew with Man United, drew with Newcastle, and lost to Arsenal. I don't think we can replicate that. I think it's going to be worse over the next 4 fixtures. I think over the next 4, our most winnable one is probably Newcastle at home. They've just got a really bad away record, and we could potentially do something in that game. I don't trust us at all against Arsenal. Man United away is going to be incredibly difficult now with them changing their manager and then looking a lot better against Man City. We'll see how they are today in the second game under Carrick. And Man City at home, I just feel, yeah, look, Spurs have always got it in them to get a result against Man City, no matter what state we're in. But again, it could be vice versa. Man City could always turn up on the day.
And it's just nuts when, I know we've mentioned the results against the bottom 4, but it's nuts as well that we've lost to West Ham and we got battered by Forest. And the 2 results we did get against Wolves and Burnley, we needed last minute goals to get anything out of those games.
Yeah,
it's nuts, isn't it, to think that we could very well be looking at 4 losses there, and especially the Wolves one we should have been. So when you're looking at the fixture list, like now at the end of the season, you're thinking, okay, when are we playing these bottom teams to save us? We can't even look at those games because we're not getting the results in those games.
Yeah, it's true. And after the Arsenal game, which is the last of the next 4, Fulham away, don't trust us in that game. Palace at home is a potential for 3 points there. Liverpool away, I can't see us winning there. Then we play Nottingham Forest at home. Now, if we lose that Forest game at home, that's when the alarm bells, I think, will really start to ring.
I mean, they should be.
They should be ringing red, but even you were saying you don't think we're going to get relegated. But if we actually lose that game and we envisage the next 4, 5, 6 games to go, if they go that way, then there will be an actual realistic chance of actually going down, not just thinking about we're going to be in a relegation scrap.
We'll put it this way: if we're being ultra like, okay, this is it, we have to think about relegation battle now. 40 points we need. We're on 28 now.
Yeah.
Where are these 4 wins coming from? We need 4 wins from now to the end of the season. Do you see 4 wins anywhere?
I mean, we've won 2 in our last 15 or 14 games or whatever it is. Who are the wins coming from? Well, let's go through our fixtures and we'll see.
City won.
Are we beating City? Probably not. Let's be honest. We're probably not beating City. We're probably not beating Man United. We're probably not beating Newcastle. We're probably not beating Arsenal. We're probably not beating Fulham. Palace could be one of them.
Maybe Palace, Glasner side.
And it could be in the mix of Europe at that point as well. So Palace could be one of them. Liverpool, no. Forest, are we going to beat Forest
Maybe.
at home? Maybe.
If we don't win at home, but maybe.
Sunderland away, we're not winning. Brighton at home, probably not.
Well, I actually think Brighton are one of the teams which obviously we had a good game against Brighton last time.
Yeah.
That's maybe a game I would earmark because I think Frank would like playing against them. This is given Frank's still in charge anyway.
Yeah, that's three. That's three, and we can't even hand in heart say we're going to win those games. Wolves away.
They're okay, surely.
We couldn't even beat them at home.
Yeah, but we're better away.
Then we got Villa away. That's no chance. Leeds at home. Maybe, but probably not. If they're in the same mode that they're in now, we won't beat them. Chelsea away and Everton at home. So not Chelsea away.
Maybe Everton. So you're earmarking, I think the ones you're earmarking are Everton at home, Leeds at home, Forest and Wolves.
And Brighton, you said.
And maybe Brighton as well, yeah.
So those are 5 maybe wins, and we're not even like sure on some of them.
To get us to 40 points. Are we going to win those 5 games, guys? Is that where we're at? Are we going to get over the line, or are you going to get seriously dragged into it? Because I think 40 points will surely be enough.
40 points should be enough, yeah.
But West Ham are on a roll, and the thing is, West Ham, whatever you want to say about them, they have been Premier League regulars for a reason. They are a big club, so they aren't going to go down without a fight, I don't think. They're going to probably, I reckon they'll invest a bit more between now and the end of the window. I think the owners are petrified of relegation. I don't think we're scared of it because I don't think we're taking that threat seriously as a club. West Ham, they're obviously right there, right? So they're petrified of actually going down. I think they're not going to go down without a fight. And I think they're going to put a run together. I'm pretty certain of that. But where that leads them, I don't know.
They're currently on 20 points.
Yeah. So to get to 40, how many wins is that? That's 6. 6 wins would be 18 points. So 6 wins, pretty much they need.
Yeah.
That's 38. 38 is usually enough.
Yeah.
I mean, 6 wins, is that crazy? And how many games? How many games have we got left at the end of the season?
15.
6. I mean, it is pretty crazy given their current form, but they are 2-2 on the bounce now.
Yeah, they play Chelsea away next. They're probably not going to win that. If they beat Burnley the week after that, then it starts to get even more scary. I don't know. I'm looking at West Ham's fixtures, and they play Leeds last game of the season.
Big game.
Their last 3 out of their last 2, they go to Newcastle away and play Arsenal at home. So they're probably going to lose them. Brentford away. They got a couple of winnable games. They've got Wolves at home. But again, probably don't even trust West Ham as well. Like a bit similar to us to win these kind of games.
Well, I'm saying I think they've got a shot in the arm now. I don't think we're going to see the West Ham that was as bad as they have been. I'm not saying they're going to be like an incredible team now. I'm just saying they're going to be better. I reckon they're not going to go down without a fight. They're going to give themselves a fighting chance.
Do you think they pick up from now until the end of the season more points than us?
No, I don't. But if we keep Frank, maybe.
Whatever it is, whether we go down or not, it's a very scary situation. Whether we think we're going to go down or not, or shall I say, it's a very scary situation.
I just can't believe we're here. After a year ago we were kind of talking about it, but I think the last year the difference was that the bottom 3 was so bad, like much worse than they are now, and they just couldn't really live within the Premier League. Those teams, whereas at least. Obviously, Wolves have been horrible, but Wolves and Burnley have been probably as bad as last year's teams. But West Ham are a Premier League regular, and that I think the fight for that last spot is probably going to go down to the wire.
Yeah, look, all those teams in the conversation have all been relegated in the last 10 years.
Yeah,
West Ham have, Forest have, Leeds have.
Yeah, but West Ham have also been in the past 10 years European regulars for a time. And won
they got back-to-back Europe. Did they get more than 2 years in a row?
3 years in a row? They won 3 years in a row.
2 Europa League, 1 Conference League, yeah.
Yeah. So they were, for a time they were regulars. They're obviously a big club as well. I mean, comparatively. So, yeah, they're not going to go down. That the fight for that last spot, they're not going to. I don't think it's going to be like last season where April they're down. It's not going to be like that. I don't think they're going to give it their best shot, and they got a good manager as well, who I think is been in these situations before. And they do have some good players, and they might sign some more. So I think it's going to be a different situation to last season. Last season, we were safe by February, even though we were bad and tanking. We literally got 2 wins in Feb, and we were safe because the other teams were just that bad. It's not going to be like that this year.
And as well, like, we have this debate, or not we don't have the debate because we have a similar opinion on it, but there's a debate in the Spurs fan base that these players are not good enough, and we are where we deserve to be on the back of Kane and Son leaving and all that, which obviously is a massive downgrade onto Kane and Son. I'm not saying it's not, but you look at the starting 11 yesterday. Who out of those starting 11 are relegation fodder? Because none of them are, in my opinion. Vicario's not, Danso's not, Romero's not, Van de Ven's not, Porro's not, Bissouma's not, Gallagher's not, Spence isn't, Simmons, Odobert, Solanke. None of them are relegation fodder. You know
the only one you can maybe make the argument is Odobert because he got relegated with Burnley, but other than that...
He was our best player yesterday.
He was our best player. I think he is improving. So I wouldn't make that argument personally. I'm just saying if someone was to argue, maybe Odobert would be the only one.
What I'm saying is all the starting 11 that started yesterday's game are all decent players.
They've all shone in other teams and other environments.
They're all decent players. So I'm not having this kind of thing like, oh, we are where we are because of the playing staff. It's just such rubbish, isn't it?
Bollocks. I'm sorry. This team is much better than being in a relegation battle. We should be minimum challenging for a minimum top 10 at the bare minimum, but we really should be in a European challenge. I mean, we predicted 5th beginning of the season. Maybe that was delusional. Look, maybe it was, but we still have enough players to be in and around that conversation. I look at our squad compared to the likes of like even Villa and Newcastle and Brentford, who are right now in that kind of fight for Europe, and all those clubs. And I really don't think our squads are that different. And I know that's crazy to say, given right now where those teams are and where we are. But I honestly, I look at their teams. I don't think they're that special. I honestly think, let's say we had Villa's squad, right, and we were in the position we were in now. There'll be people deludedly saying, "Oh, it's because the players are just rubbish." They'll be making that excuse again because Rodgers is from the Championship, all this kind of stuff. Like, honestly, the players that we have, the potential they have, they could be in that top 6 fight. A lot of these players were part of. Everyone says, "Oh, all these players, they were part of the team that finished 17th," which is true. But they also are part of the team that finished 5th. They know how to win games regularly, like they did in that season. They obviously won the Europa League as well last season. So they showed a bit about them to get over the line in that competition. These aren't players. I know if you take kind of the league form over the last 18 months. And you can very much make the case these players, they're showing their quality. Look at our performances. Look at our results. This is where the playing staff are. It's just not a very good team. But I just think you have to, if you look a bit deeper than that. Last season, when I think our record when we had Romero and Van de Ven was quite good. I think we in overall we played 16 games and won 10 of them. So was
that all in the league?
No, it was all competitions. But we only had 16, unfortunately.
How many in the league was it?
I think in the league it was played 9, won 5. I think lost 4, something like that, or drew 1, lost 3, something like that.
Yeah, so nearly half.
Nearly half, but it's better than now. I'll take half. But my point being,
I'm saying that kind of run is obviously very heavy inflated with a lot of early rounds in the Europa League, isn't it?
The 16 games is.
Yeah.
The league games, we won some good games in the league.
Yeah.
But obviously the Europa League is still, we had to win that competition. I'm saying, but the point being, I think when we had a fully functioning team, I think we won games and we played good football. And I think it all went wrong due to the circumstances. And I think this season, that also has a part to play. But I think mainly, the way we play is not down to a lot of the time down to the injuries that we have. It's down to how we're set up and how we approach games. And I think the team are capable of so much more.
It's bad as well. Like, everyone goes about how shit our squad is. We put out a team like we played yesterday, and we've just been through it. We both agreed, they're all decent players. Not like a lot of them are not world beaters, but decent players, good enough to be in the top 10 at least, at the very minimum. And that's with the injury crisis that we're going through right now.
Yeah.
That's with 6 or 7 players out with long-term injuries. That just shows you as well, like the squad as a whole is not bad.
It's not. I don't think it is. Look, we all want better. Everyone wants better. I think when people say the squad isn't good enough, that's fine, but I think people misconstrue that to say the squad's not good enough, ergo Frank has both hands tied behind his back. That's not the case. That's not what I'm saying. It isn't good enough in terms of we need better if we want to be challenging the very best teams. We can all agree that.
Yeah.
But in terms of being back in that European fight, I think there's players there more than capable of doing that, more than capable of being part of that team. And I just think we need a manager who's going to get more out of these players and set them up to create more chances, be more on the front foot, believe in what they're doing, and get the fan base on side and get them behind the team as well. I think the whole thing is an absolute mess at the moment, and I think there's young players in there, yes, who need to grow, but there's also some good senior players in there who have had good careers and they're capable of a lot more than what we're seeing. And look, there's signs of Odegaard growing. I think there's signs of Tell growing, but especially with Tell, he hasn't trusted him anywhere near enough. There was a period as well where Odegaard was left out of the team after he was playing well for no reason. He needs to be getting more out of a lot of our players. Xavi, he needs to be getting more out of him as well.
Yeah.
Like, it's frustrating. I understand the frustration with the players as well. It's hard to know where the buck stops when it comes to exactly how much portion of blame. But when you look at the overall picture of how we're playing and the results we're getting, it ultimately falls down on Frank for that.
Like, I didn't see the analysis, but I saw a few quotes coming through, and apparently, did you watch Match of the Day last night?
No, I saw some of the analysis clips though.
Yeah, apparently Alan Shearer was saying that the main problem at Spurs has been down to the recruitment and looking at the playing staff and saying they're just not good enough, the players that we have, and kind of not talking about Thomas Frank too much and putting any blame on him. And I just think it's nuts.
Well, but it's also, yeah, that is true. He said that it's just a bad team. That's the main problem. They just got a bad team. And it's mad as well. Glenn Murray did the same thing. He said Frank's job should not be in danger at all. He just needs time, and he's doing an okay job and all this rubbish. And I couldn't believe what I was hearing. And it was, funnily enough, there was an article from this month last season where Glenn Murray was talking about Tottenham then, and he said 15th is unacceptable, Ange has to adapt or he has to leave, and he's not doing a good enough job. And yet when it comes to Frank, he runs for cover for Frank and says Frank is doing a fine job. His job shouldn't be under threat whatsoever, he said. Like, definitively, his job shouldn't be under pressure whatsoever, and they have to give him time.
When did he say that?
What?
When did he say that?
Yesterday.
Oh, he said that yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday. And I'm like, I was listening to that after reading what someone posted, what he wrote about Ange last season. Like, I don't understand why he's so harsh on one side and then completely runs for cover Frank on the other side. And I do think there is a narrative protecting Frank at the moment. I'm seeing Sky Sports posting graphics about Thomas Frank, about all the injuries we've got this season. And I feel like the narrative, again, last season was Ange was to blame for the injuries. This season, Frank is a victim of the injuries. And I'm not saying from the fan base, because I think the fan base have been very harsh on Frank. I think the fan base have been going for him. But I think when it comes to the media, I'm seeing a lot of protection for Frank. I don't see anyone in the media really saying he should be under threat or he's doing a bad job or anything like that.
I think the only one is like O'Hara, isn't it?
He's been very well protected, I think, from the main guys in the media, whereas I thought Ange last week was being called a clown by journalists. He was really getting the boots stuck into him, I thought, last season by a lot of the journos. Again, this isn't about Ange per se, it's more about the protection that Frank's getting, which I find very weird.
Yeah, I don't really get it, to be honest. I think that Frank should be slammed as much as, if not more, than what Ange Postecoglou was last season, and that's coming for someone that was happy that Frank got appointed instead of Ange. But look, the reality is I don't think either of them are probably good fits for Tottenham right now. So yeah, I think there is a lot of protection for Thomas Frank in the media, and I just can't put my finger on why that is. Is it because of his story of what he did at Brentford? I don't know.
I think he's probably him being a nice guy, and him also, I think Ange was very bullish, wasn't he? And very confident of himself. And I think the English media don't like that. They like a humble guy like Frank, who's kind of will toe the line. He will just kind of, he's very nice in his press conference and stuff like that. Whereas Ange is just very bullish. He'll make these statements. I always win trophies in my second season. I don't think the media will drag you down for it until then you prove it, and then they'll build him up for what he said, which is what they like to do. They don't like bullish, confident characters who will just believe in themselves. I think they like people like Frank, who's just very humble and will like not make big statements and will kind of know your place kind of thing. I think that's what I think the media prefer that, or journalists apparently, it seems.
Well, absolute shit show, whatever the situation's going on. Manager, players, everything. It's just and I just don't see the way out of it. But